You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started again.
We believe in the American way, and we built this country called the USA, and we fly our flag because we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our way of life. We never back down from a challenge or a fight. Nature provides, God gives the rights, we're Americans. We fish the waters and we hunt the lands. We forge the steel with our own two hands. With what we've got, we do the best we can. We're Americans.
It's time now for the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show on K98 Talk. Now, here's Grouchy.
Good evening, everybody. I wish it were a better evening, but we're going to take what we got and we're going to go with it. I walked out of work today and left all my show notes on my work computer, being the idiot that I am, and I'm going to pay the price for it for the next 58 minutes or so. So just bear with me. We're going to wing this whole hour here, and we're gonna just let it fly. We're gonna vent. We're gonna let it all out. How's the song go? Shout, shout, let it all out. Yeah. Well, that's what we're gonna do tonight. So, what's on the agenda, you say? Well, what's not on the agenda? Let's start with that. And man, what do I need to do here? I need to give me just a second here. Here's something. If you'd like to contribute to tonight's madness, please feel free to give me a call. The number is 408-681-8255. That's 408-681-8255. The lines are open, and Super Rick is standing by. And we're going to start the night off. I just want to take a minute and recognize a friend of mine who passed away earlier this week. He is a two-time OIF veteran deployed into combat over in the Middle East. He is retired from the Army National Guard, and he passed away peacefully in his sleep this week. I have known Harold for 33 years, and he will be sorely missed. So, salute. Go with God, my friend. And with that, we're going to start off talking about some immigration and customs enforcement. One of the things I do remember from my notes, this was the first thing that I put on the list for tonight's show, so I remember it well. They have just released, or I shouldn't say released because that would give you the wrong kind of think. They have revealed that 124 illegal immigrant criminals released from jail by the Obama administration since the year 2010 have been subsequently charged with murder. Now, I want you to think about that. 124 since 2010 that the Obama administration said are good people and shouldn't be in jail have been charged with murder. A Center for Immigration Studies report on the data from ICE to the Senate Judiciary Committee added that the committee is not releasing the names of the murder suspects. Well, isn't that special? Let's protect them some more, because they'll just hang out in sanctuary cities that get federal funds from this administration and will continue to get federal funds from Hillary's administration, I'm sure. And no, I'm not advocating for Hillary. I'm just saying that that's what it's looking like these days. But we'll get to that in a little bit. The criminal aliens released by ICE during these years, who had already been convicted of thousands of crimes between the 124 of them, are responsible for a significant crime spree in American communities, including 138 new homicides. Inexplicably, ICE is choosing to release some criminal aliens multiple times. What does it take? How many Americans have to die at the hands of these criminal, illegal aliens before somebody up on Capitol Hill pulls their head from their rear orifice and decides to actually do something about it? Now, the report was written by CIS's Director of Policy Studies, Jessica Vaughn, and in her report, Ms. Vaughn added that 75% were released due to court orders because their countries would not take them back. And what's more, her report continued to say that ICE released 30,558 criminal aliens who had been convicted, get this, of 92,347 separate crimes, and only 3% of them have been deported. There you go, Obama. That's something you can hang your legacy on, isn't it? 3%. Her analysis is the latest shocking review of Obama's open border immigration policy, and despite the high number of illegal immigrants charged with murder, the list doesn't include those released by over 300 so-called sanctuary cities and those that ICE declined to take into custody. So we're not even getting a complete picture. She said that 124 criminal aliens released by ICE between 2010 and 2014 were charged with murder during that period and associated with 250 different communities in the United States, with most clustered in California, New York, and Texas. That's not all of them, that's just most. So, in a memo about the crimes of these released illegals to the Judiciary Committee, Chairman Senator Chuck Grassley, ICE said, quote, "The aliens were charged with a total of 135 homicide-related crimes subsequent to release from ICE custody as of July 25th. A total of 39 convictions have resulted from these homicide-related charges. Of the 121 total aliens, 2 had homicide-related convictions prior to being released from ICE custody. They're turning convicted murderers loose on our streets." Now, folks, you can't blame the people at ICE. Okay, you really can't. They're following the orders of a corrupt administration in D.C. ICE would love nothing better than to ship these folks out of here. Believe me, I know ICE agents. They don't like this. Vaughn added that ICE reported that there are 156 criminal aliens who were released at least twice by ICE since 2013. Between them, these criminals had 1,776 convictions before their first release in 2013, with burglary, larceny, drug possession listed most frequently. What in the hell is happening in our country? When we can't lock up hardened criminals. Close to where I live, down here in coastal Alabama, there's a prison that's gone through, in the last week, there's been 2 separate riots, 3 days apart, 2 different incidents. And during these riots, the inmates were communicating with local news agencies in the area via smartphones. Now, I'm sorry. Smartphones are contraband. Well, phones are contraband for prisoners. You're not supposed to have them. So after they got the first riot under control, after about 9 or 10 hours, they did a sweep of the facility. They confiscated 30 cell phones and what they called a number of different types of weapons. They didn't give a specific number. They just said a number. So what happens? This was on a Friday. Monday, the same prison riots again. And there are more prisoners on smartphones FaceTiming with the news agencies. What does it take, fellas? What does it take? The report that came out on the news said that there were 17 guards on duty to deal with over 1,100 inmates. The prison's designed to hold about 400, and they've got 1,100 plus in there. Now, does that make things uncomfortable? Yes, it does. Does that make things very crowded? Yes, it does. The prisoners that were FaceTiming with the news agencies are real geniuses. They were complaining about their conditions. They said they have no hot water. Okay, we could argue all day long about whether this is a necessity or not. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and just say that it is, okay? Just for the sake of not arguing over something. Let's say it is, okay? We can get hot water fixed. Hot water costs money, though. Do the taxpayers of Alabama want to pay for that hot water? Or should they set up solar heated water tanks to supply the showers much like our military men and women have to deal with when they're deployed and out in the field. I've been out in the field before, and what we used to shower with was a gigantic water tank up on stilts as high as we could get it. It was painted black so that it would absorb the heat of the sun through the day, and that we would have at least, quote unquote, warm water in the evening to shower in. I don't see any reason why they couldn't do something like that for the prisoners. Certainly not inhumane. Now, the other thing that this particular prisoner was FaceTiming with the news about, and he called this a human travesty, if you can believe this. He opened a microwave in their TV room, which has multiple televisions in it. Yeah, think about that for a minute. He showed a picture around the room. There were probably 24 or so inmates sitting around watching different television programs. He opens the microwave and shoots video inside the microwave and complains that there's not a turntable to evenly heat their foods. You know, the little table that rotates around inside the microwave? Yeah, they're complaining because they don't have that. So for anybody out there that's got a kid in college or went through college, do you remember having a microwave in your room that didn't have a turntable? Yeah, this is what they're calling inhumane. Okay? The prisoners also talked about how their trash in the cell block, the trash just overflowed continuously. Well, I'm sorry. Seems like they have 1,100 plus prisoners in this facility. They don't have anybody that can take the damn trash out. What do these guys do all day that the trash is piling up? And why aren't the prisoners made to take the trash out? They complained about mold and mildew in the cell blocks. Okay, again, cleaning parties will fix this. There's no reason that prisoners with rubber gloves and sponges and warm soapy water and a little cleaning solution can't take care of mold and mildew. Put these sorry asses to work, okay? And let me tell you something. It's not a black or a white thing. I will go on record as saying that this prison is largely populated. Well, actually, it's not largely populated. Let me give you the breakdown here because I've got it. I've been pulling this up and looking for this. The breakdown is 58% black. It is 41% white, and the rest is classified as other, which is like 1%. So think about this, okay? This is not a racial thing. These lazy asses are there for a reason. They have committed crimes against people that choose to obey laws instead of break them. There are punishments for breaking laws. Now, one reporter for a local station here went to the home of the parents of one of the inmates. Now, this is good because this particular inmate is serving 20 years for murder. He's a convicted murderer. Now, first of all, the reporter looks this mother dead in the face and asks her what's going on at the prison. And the parents, this particular inmate is a black male, a young black male. His mother is probably close to my age. She might be a few years older than me, but we're pretty close in age. She proceeds to tell the reporter that her son is now being held with no food and no water. So the reporter asks, does her son communicate with her via a cell phone, since that is illegal? And she refuses to answer. And the reporter says, well, then how do you know if he's not communicating with you via a cell phone, that he's being held without food and water. Again, she won't answer the question. So the reporter backs up for a second. He catches his breath. He looks this woman in the face and he says, "Ma'am, I don't mean to sound blunt, but your son is in prison for committing murder. Why should the people out there care whether he gets to eat or drink something?" I about lost my TV remote at that point. I was so pleased as punch. The smile that came across my face, the fact that this man had the stones to stand in these people's front yard with a live camera rolling on him and them and ask that question. Because quite frankly, I don't give a damn if they're dressed in pink and made to eat bologna sandwiches twice a day. I think that they committed crimes. Most of these guys committed some kind of heinous crime. These are not shoplifters that are in this prison. This is not where they send first-time offenders. This is where they send the hardened mofos that make up the ilk or the bane of society, if you will. Their ilk is well known. They are the hardened criminals. That this guy would go and do that. And he, first of all, let me go ahead and say the reporter's name on the air here. Alan Carter. God bless you, sir. God bless you. You did not go and sit down in these people's yard and shirk your responsibilities as a reporter. You did not go there and play the race card with them. You could have, and a lesser man would have. You earned a lot of respect, at least right here you did, Alan Carter, because you did your job. So, anyway, enough of the prison riot. You know, I'm so sick of people not taking responsibility. Before I came on the air tonight, I did a little poll as I promoted the show, and I wanted to ask everybody what I was pissed about. And the choices were dumbass Democrats, dumbass Republicans, the GOP establishment, and the fact that I forgot my show notes. And I should have made an all of the above choice, but I was doing it as I realized I forgot my notes, so everything didn't pan out as nicely as I hoped. It's a pisser, but you know what? We'll get through it. I'm mad at everybody. Okay? I really am. I'm mad at everybody tonight. Okay? I'm not a Trump fan. I am not a Trump fan. Okay? And I voted for Cruz in my primary. I would still vote for Cruz today. Nothing has changed my mind. I would vote for Kasich before I voted for Trump. And I'm going to explain myself. And if you don't like it, that's fine. You're certainly entitled to your opinion. I'm not mad at every Trump fan out there. I'm only mad at the idiots. And believe me, there are people that are anti-Trump that are idiots too. And I'm mad at them too. So this is not just a finger pointing in one direction. This is a bunch of fingers pointing in a bunch of directions because there are a lot of dumbasses out there. Okay? First of all, the protesters in Chicago. Mr. Trump, protesters, whether you like it or not, do have a First Amendment right to be heard. Now, that being said, protesters, you do not have a First Amendment right to storm a facility that somebody has leased and to try to take it over so that they can't speak. You do not have that right. Okay? You do not have the right to take somebody's sign from them and rip it up. You do not have the right to violate somebody's personal space and make them feel unsafe. Okay? what I've noticed about these protesters, okay, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that that there's not enough guilt to go around here, because there is. These protesters they're with Move On and Black Lives Matter and, organizations like that. Soros is funding a lot of this. It's known, okay? It is absolutely known. But you still have to operate within the confines of the law, okay? You cannot sling your arm out into somebody's face and come within an inch of striking them and have them not feel threatened. And the fact that you're doing this to mostly women at these rallies shows what cowards you really are. Because let me tell you something. I'm not somebody that is a violence first kind of person. But if somebody got in my face like that and I thought they were about to strike me, I would defend myself. Okay? Now, as I say this, people are cringing out there. Okay? Listen up. The protester that was being escorted out of the arena in Chicago, the Trump supporter came out of their seat into the aisle and struck that protester in the face. Not cool. You should go to jail too. Okay? You should go to jail too. And Trump, you told people to hit him in the mouth and you'd pay their legal fees. You should go to jail for inciting violence. I'm sorry. That's the fact. You incited the violence. They incited it too, but you in turn incited violence. Okay? Like I said, there's enough blame to go around here. I'm not blaming Trump for the protesters. Okay? Protesters are going to protest. That's what they do. Get used to it, because it's a long road to the general election, my friend. It is a long road, and they're not going to stop. Okay? And I'm a little disappointed in the other GOP candidates for trying to pin the blame on Trump. Okay? I'm not overly disappointed, because I know it's a political maneuver and it has a certain strategy to it. And maybe that strategy paid a little bit of dividends, but not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Okay? So shame on Rubio, Kasich, and Cruz for just out and out blaming Trump. Okay? It wasn't just Trump. Okay? It wasn't. And if you step back and look at it with a sane, reasonable mind, you know I'm telling the truth. And that's what it is. Okay? We've got the fruit ninja, John Kasich, and you guys that have seen the little gif out there, you know what I'm talking about, the way he talks with his hands going crazy. Somebody overlaid the Fruit Ninja game where he's chopping the fruit up with his hands. It's hilarious to watch. We've got Kasich now allegedly in a backdoor negotiation with Cruz. We've got Tom DeLay is saying that Kasich will eventually back Cruz and drop. Kasich has been mathematically eliminated. There is not a mathematical path for Kasich to win the delegates. Saddened to see Rubio drop. It was past time, unfortunately. I would like to think that Rubio's going to jump on board with Cruz. I don't know if that's enough at this point. I hope it is. But congratulations to Marco. You showed some fire. What I would really like to say to Marco is you need to go back to a lot of your 2010 speeches, okay, when you were running for Senate in 2010. And you need to look long and hard at what you were saying back then versus what you've been saying for the last month or two. and compare notes and see where you lost your way. Marco, you're not an old man. I still think that there is a future for you in the Republican Party. I do think that you have to find your way back, though. In 2010, you were talking about listening to constituents and not the donor class and not the establishment class. And I think you kind of got lost in it. And it's understandable. You were a freshman senator. There was a lot of pressure put on you. I know for a fact exactly why they picked you and Jeff Flake to be part of the Gang of Eight. And it was to discredit you two as Tea Party favorites coming into the Senate like you were, young and fireballing and pistols drawn, ready to go. Okay? You absolutely were those guys in 2010. And shame on McCain and Schumer and everybody else for knowing what they were doing to you guys. Okay? But shame on you two for letting it happen. Like I said, folks, we got a lot of blame to go around tonight. A lot of blame, a lot of finger pointing to do here, a lot of people at fault. It's time for people to stand up and accept personal responsibility for both your positive and your negative. Okay? You should get it both ways. You get the good, you get the bad, but own it all, because in the end, it's yours. It's the bottom of the hour. We got to take a break. We've been winging it for 30 minutes, and we're going to wing it for 30 more when we come back. So sit still, and we'll be with you in about 2 or 3.
The internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all! What is it good for? Absolutely! Now get set again.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of our military service members or their families, asking them to put themselves in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep them secure for the rest of their lives. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
The staff of K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network is proud to announce that our very own Rowdy Rick Robinson has been selected as one of the top conservative talk show hosts in the nation for his program America Off the Rails. Again, congratulations to Rowdy Rick Robinson for a job well done and another reason to stay connected to K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network.
Ray, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
The Pinky and the Brain. Yes, Pinky and the Brain. One is a genius, the other's insane.
he is putting forth, which really comes down to, anybody who ever took donations or speaking fees from any interest group has to be bought. And I just absolutely reject that, Senator. And I really don't think these kinds of attacks by insinuation are worthy of you. And enough is enough. If you've got something to say it directly. But you will not find that I ever changed a view or a vote because of any donation that I ever received.
Okay, well, that takes us up to our next story. So we've got yeah. Somebody throw a bucket of water on that bitch, would you? Anyway, we had Hillary at a town hall event in Ohio that was hosted by CNN. And, well, she was talking about her energy policies. And one of the first things that came out of Hillary's mouth was this.
Hang on a second, you caught me flat-footed.
I caught him flat-footed.
You gotta warn me, man.
I told you we were going to Hillary.
Maybe I don't want to go to Hillary. Ew.
Oh, well.
Gotta move away.
Hang on, I hit the wrong button.
So what did Hillary say?
We're going to put a lot of coal miners and coal companies out of business.
You're damn right. That's what she said. She's going to put a lot of coal miners and coal companies out of the business. Now, why? Why, Hillary? We've spent billions upon billions upon billions of dollars over the last 3 decades making coal a whole lot cleaner. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's that truth meter Hillary was talking about. Yeah, when somebody lies, it's going to bark. Yeah, she wants like the barking dog truth meter to be instantaneous on political speeches. Remember that? Remember that? I do. You know what, Hillary? You're barking up the wrong tree. But anyway, she claims that she's the only candidate with a policy to bring economic opportunity using clean, renewable energy into coal country. Exactly. Yeah, there we go. There she goes again. She's lying. That's exactly right. Now, Rick, I think we've got one more soundbite, don't we?
Got to move away from coal and all the other fossil fuels.
Yeah, all the other fossil fuels. Okay, it's funny that she would bring that up because she's backpedaling so hard now on this. It's so funny. Okay, and again, I'm doing all this flat-foot winging it here off the notes that I had gone over before the show that I do not have with me. So please forgive me. But Hillary wants to do away with all fossil fuels, she says. Never mind. I guess she flew into Ohio on her solar-powered jet and gas for propulsion to get to the debate floor there. Natural gas being the friction created between her thunder thighs. This is absolutely absurd that she thinks that the technology is ready to just abandon all fossil fuels. Our government is already, quote unquote, investing, which is another word for wasting taxpayer dollars. And if you really think that they're doing investing in new energy sources, just do a little bit of Googling on your own, if you will, and look up all the failed businesses that the Obama administration has put billions of dollars into for alternative energy that have folded up, taken the money, and gone away. Okay, I've done a show on this about a year ago, and back then it was billions of dollars. Now I'm betting it's hundreds of billions of dollars. It's just absolutely ludicrous. Technology will develop over time, and we will have that technology in time, but it takes time. Money's not the issue. People have been developing alternative energy sources to power cars and power boats and power this and power that. Solar is coming around. Solar is immensely powerful. We just have to have big enough arrays to capture and then places to store the energy that we do capture. But we have to take this in baby steps. Okay, battery technology. I said that I work with a guy that's been an early adapter of electric cars. He's on his third electric car now. Okay, he's driving the little BMW electric car. I don't even know what the model is, but it's just a little bigger than a Cracker Jack box. It has like the giant wind-up thing that sticks in the back, like, like a little wind-up toy. Yeah, you remember those. But, it's got a great big one. It takes two guys to turn it to get the thing cranked up. But, no, I'm kidding. Anyway, he's on his third electric car. And the biggest knock is that the battery range is only 120 miles. Now, if you live in a city where you commute 10, 15 miles each way to and from work, that's great. Okay? That's great. You can charge up at night and you can have yourself a little commuter car that runs off electricity. And that's fantastic. I have no problem with that. Okay? I really don't. But I am a little different of an animal. Okay? I like going on road trips. I actually enjoy drives. And sometimes I'll drive 700-800 miles in a day. Now, show me an electric car that has that kind of range. Show me a battery-powered engine that has that kind of range. Show me a car that is in mass production that has that kind of range, not running on a fossil fuel. I don't have... Mr. Producer said he always knew I was nuts. He knows when we did the Southern Republican Leadership Conference in his hometown of Oklahoma City, where he didn't have to drive anywhere to get to, that I drove overnight to be there for the conference. I left coastal Alabama at about, I don't know, what do you think, Rick? Probably about 9-10 o'clock at night, and got there just in time for the start of the first day of the conference and went right in. No freshen up, no anything. Came in, powered up, changed clothes, and I was ready to roll, right?
That was pretty much what happened. That's
exactly what happened, my friend. That's because that's what I do.
That's how we roll.
Anyway, but, and it's fine. I do that. My mother lives in Central Florida. I drive there. It's about a 600-mile drive. My daughter lives in Central Florida. I drive there. It's a little further. She's a little further south. Probably closer to 650, 700 miles. It's fine. It's okay. It's a nonstop thing. The thing is you give me a Tesla car that has a 400-mile range off the battery, and you solve a lot of my problems, okay? Because I'll drive to a metro area with a rapid charging station and spend an hour and rest and stretch and charge my car and get back in and drive the rest of the way in a day, okay? For my day trips to New Orleans, it would be fantastic. I can drive to New Orleans. Can't do that on a 120-mile range from here. I'm a little further than that. And I could, I'm sure there'd be a charging station down there, but you've got to give me the range to get somewhere. Okay? I could drive one to and from work every day. Yeah, it's a 25-minute drive each way for me. I could, 50-mile range, I could do that. But it doesn't suit my other needs. Okay? It just doesn't. So Hillary is deluding herself with this magical potion that she thinks she has that's going to just eliminate the need for fossil fuels because she wants to tax our asses into trying to accelerate technology with government money behind it. It's ridiculous. And quite frankly, it's insulting that she thinks people are that stupid that they would do that. So anyway, enough about the dumbass Hillary. Okay, let's talk about some different dumbasses. And we'll even talk about Republican dumbasses. Because today, dumbass Republicans in the establishment wing of the party started trotting out the idea of a third-party candidate. Now, the names that are being advanced are just absolutely ridiculous. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan's name has been advanced. And even as I was scrambling trying to find something when I realized I had not brought my notes home, I saw a newer report from the Washington Post that said Ryan is actually open to the idea of running as a third-party Republican if Trump wins the nomination or comes into a quote-unquote contested convention. Another name on the short list of candidates that the GOP establishment is eyeballing is Kelly Ayotte, which is really insane, being that 95% of the base Republicans in this country don't have a freaking clue who Kelly Ayotte is, let alone could spell her name. And of course, there's always the back burner idea of bringing Jeb back at a contested convention, because the guy that got 4% of votes when everybody did know his name is the answer you want, right? Right? You idiot. Look, I'm not a Trump fan, okay? I would have voted for, hell, anybody but Jeb before Trump. Okay? I have a serious dislike of Jeb, and I have my reasons, and we don't need to go into all that right now. Suffice it to say, when there were 17 candidates, Jeb was 17, Trump was 16. Okay? I'm not a Trump fan. He has yet to decorate the giant Christmas tree that I mentioned on a previous program. He put this giant Christmas tree up, 3 or 4 great big ideas, okay? He throws this tree up there and he repeats it over and over and over and over and over, and he doesn't have the first damn detail. There are no decorations on Trump's Christmas tree. Okay? And I don't give a damn how many drudge polls he wins saying he won debates. That's freaking lunacy to think that Donald Trump has won any of the debates that have taken place on the Republican side of the aisle. Although I do think he scored a win in the Democratic debate 3 weeks ago. Just an opinion. But anyway, there was a debate scheduled for next week in Utah, but it has been canceled because Trump has said that he will not attend the event.
Mangina!
Yes, exactly right. Thank you. He says that there have been enough debates, that he's had it with debates. Let me tell you something, folks. The timing on this could not be better to support my point. Okay? You want to know why he's had enough debates? He's had enough debates because now there are actually two serious political contenders, one on either side of him on stage. He can't yell squirrel anymore and distract everybody in the audience. It's time to put up or shut up. And he thinks he has enough of a lead right now that shutting up is his best bet.
Yeah, it's the political equivalent to, what do they call that? The safety fence? No, it's not the right word. Can't think of it, though.
Yeah, I don't remember it either. But, yeah, you're absolutely right. And, you know, and here's Trump's, you know, he thinks that the 11 or 12 debates that have already been held are enough, and another debate isn't going to solve anything. Well, you know, Trump, here's what it would solve. It would solve the fact that you, sir, are policy bankrupt. You absolutely are. Okay? Kasich has better ideas Kasich has better details than you. He may not have better ideas because Kasich is a squish, but at least he's a squish that knows how to get what he wants done. He has a plan to accomplish his ideas. You, sir, just keep spouting ideas. You have no plan. Now, Trump says, I did really well on the last one. No, you didn't. You stayed quiet most of the time. If staying quiet is your equivalent to doing well, then you suck. Okay? And right now the Trump fans are out there going wild. They're just pissed off at me. And you know what? I don't really care.
Hey, I found a clip that I think sums up Trump pretty well. It runs for about a minute. Do you want me to run it or no?
If you got it queued up, go ahead and run it. Yeah, let's do it.
The following takes place between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m.
As far as temperament, I think I have a great temperament. I built a phenomenal business with incredible, iconic assets. I've had tremendous success with #1 bestsellers all over the place and everything else I've done. But I will tell you this, what I am far and away greater than an entertainer is a businessman. And that, believe me, my temperament is very good, very calm.
You are a blabbermouth! You! Blabbermouth! Out!
That is great. And for those of you who don't recognize Ralph Cranston of The Honeymooners, you are slackers and are either that or young. And if you're young, congratulations. If you're a slacker, quit slacking. That's good stuff. Look, that being said, okay, that being said, you guys know how I feel about Trump. I've said it right here on the air, okay? If it comes down to Trump versus Hillary, I will pull the lever for Trump. I have preached for years now, whether it was back on Facebook or whether it is on Twitter now, that you go with a candidate that has the best chance of winning, that you can also get at least part of your conservative agenda passed with, versus a candidate that you can get none of it passed with. Okay? Trump has a lot of ideas that are liberal ideas. Don't get me wrong. I am not a huge fan. Okay? And it is going to be holding my nose and pulling the lever. And he may not even have better looking legs than Hillary. And that's saying something, folks, because there's a lot of cottage cheese on that Democrat ticket, let me tell you. But I have to do what I have to do. I don't like it, but I know it's the right thing to do. I've seen Gary Johnson's face touted, and I'm sorry, I just can't do that. I can't. You show me Gary Johnson pulling 45 million votes, I'll jump on that train in a heartbeat. I'll be there. But 4 years ago, Gary Johnson threw his name on heart. Oh, wow. Retrograde. Gary Johnson threw his name on the ticket 4 years ago, and the only issue that sorry sack of crap would take a stand on was legalizing pot. Okay? Now, whether you're for it or against it, I don't really care. Okay? That's not what I'm going to vote for, especially if I'm voting for a single issue candidate. This is a guy that wouldn't take a stand on third trimester abortion. I'm sorry, I can't pull the lever for that. Now, there's also an analogy that says better the devil you know. Well, Hillary is the devil we know. I don't think she's better. I'm not saying she's worse, but I don't think she's better. Okay? There's a lot of unknown with Trump. There's a lot of known. And a lot of the known isn't good known. But it's not all bad. Okay? Everybody keeps saying, oh, there's no perfect candidate. And you know what? There isn't. There isn't. I was a Walker guy when this whole thing kicked off. I was tremendously saddened that Walker burned through his candle so quickly and bowed out like he did. You know, for what it's worth, and it might not even be 2 cents worth, that's where I stand. And it's not a fun place to stand. It's not, okay? Trump has said he will be neutral on Israel. I find that unforgivable. But I know Hillary's not going to do anything for Israel. And let's talk about the people that Trump's surrounding himself with, okay? Let's talk about some of these people. Today, when put on the spot, former candidate Ben Carson chalked up Donald Trump's prior vicious attacks on him to just campaign politics. And Carson said, you have to admit that to a degree, they worked. People believed them. Carson said it was just all political and that he was concerned about the fact that he couldn't shake me up. You know, Ben, I lost a lot of respect for you. A lot. I didn't have a lot, but you lost even more. Okay? Trump slammed Carson, calling him a pathological liar, likened him to a child molester, and said he was deranged and was prone to physical abuse of people. And you're just chalking that up to politics. But you can't chalk what happened up in Iowa to politics, because your people put out a nebulous message that was repeated, and maybe it was embellished, okay? Maybe it was. Maybe somebody took your message and shined it up a little bit. But you know what? Maybe you should be a little more careful about what you put out there. Okay? Because that's politics, my friend. And if you can forgive one but not the other, then you, sir, are a hypocrite. So the Yahoo anchor that was asking Carson the question said that should she teach her son to engage in such attacks, fearing that such behavior could become the norm. And Carson strikes with his absolute best fence straddling ever. It shouldn't become status quo, but neither should always be retaliating. What? Yeah. Do I hear a cricket? Exactly. Okay. Anyway, Carson, you just completely lost your damn mind. It's unreal. The other hot topic we got to talk about real quick, and I know I'm going to run over a couple minutes here, Rick, if that's okay with you.
No big deal.
We got Obama nominating a Supreme Court justice. Now, he's doing this because he says it's his job to do this. Okay, it's your job to nominate him. It's the Senate's job to either confirm or reject that nomination. And, it's also their job to possibly ignore that nomination, which is what they have vowed to do for now. But listen, you got former House Majority Leader Tom DeLay, who goes on TV today, and he says that Merrick Garland, who is the judge that Obama is nominating, is not worth Senate hearings to be considered for the U.S. Supreme Court, and is a substandard choice by President Obama to replace the late Antonin Scalia. DeLay went on to say he couldn't lick Scalia's boots, and I hope that's what people, especially in the Senate, will reveal. The guy's not a constitutionalist. I know all the lawyers in America are rallying around him because they're part of that sorority or fraternity, but he's not a constitutionalist, nor is he anywhere close to being one. Pretty strong words from Tom DeLay. He's normally a pretty passive kind of guy. But on Wednesday, Obama did tap Garland, Chief Judge of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia, and he's defying the Senate's vow that the nomination will be futile because they won't vote on him or even meet with him. Instead, the Senate wants to wait until a new president is in office, hopefully a Republican. Now, I did see, I did see somebody, and I don't know who it was, but I saw the comment made that Trump would likely pick the same guy. And I have to say that I covered this earlier when Trump was asked initially, when Scalia passed away, who he would consider. There were two names that came out of Trump's mouth, and I don't remember the second name, but the first name was Bill Pryor. And the reason I know that name is because Bill Pryor is a federal judge that was appointed by President Bush. He is the former Attorney General of the state of Alabama. And quite frankly, I was surprised that Trump knew who he was. I was kind of left jaw swinging for a minute when he dropped Pryor's name. I know Pryor to be a hard-ass conservative. Okay? So anybody that says Trump would appoint the same guy, I think you're wrong. Just based on the two names that came out of his mouth to start with. Now, does that mean that that we should have Trump pick him? Well, not necessarily. I mean, I'd much rather Cruz do the picking. At least I know what's going to come with Ted Cruz. Trump still has that wild card bit that scares me. You know, he absolutely does scare me. I don't like Trump's tax policy idea. That's posted on his webpage. Of the few details that he has provided, the details are not very good on the things that he has provided them for. I'm sorry. They're just not. But back to Merrick Garland, okay? I was tipped earlier in the day and was doing some research into Garland. There was something of an alleged cover-up with Bill Clinton and Janet Reno. I do not have all those details in front of me, so I cannot go into that right now. But DeLay's last comments. DeLay's last comments were, "It's laughable that a lawless president is making a nomination and telling us what's in the Constitution. They know nothing of what's in the Constitution." So anyway, just wanted to get that in tonight. We had to talk about this nominee because he's trash. He's a liberal piece of trash. But as always, don't take my word for it. Do your own homework. Dig past the quote-unquote moderate reports on Merrick Garland and look into his history for real. And folks, it's 5 after. It's time for me to check out. You got Rick coming on live with America Off the Rails in 2 hours. Be here for that. You won't be disappointed. And that's going to do it for me this week. Thank you for being here. God bless. Peace out. And I'll catch you next Wednesday.
We believe in the American way, and we built this country called the USA, and we fly our flag because we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our way of life. We never back down from a challenge or a fight. Nature provides, God gives the rights, we're Americans. We fish the waters and we hunt the lands. We forge the steel with our own 2 hands. With what we've got, we do the best we can. We're Americans.
It's time now for the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show on K98 Talk. Now, here's Grouchy.